Of the Rocky Ford City to order. Rebecca, will you do our roll call, please?
Montano.
Here.
Barone.
Here.
Martinez.
Here.
Mosby.
Here.
Roberts. Here. Mullins.
Here.
And Mayor Gurley.
Here. If you'll all rise, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you do our mission statement, please?
Absolutely. The mission of Rocky Ford is to improve the quality of life in the city of Rocky Ford, making it a great place to live and work while strengthening relationships and creating pride in the community.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to our first public comment. If anyone would like to address the council on any items not on the agenda, please come up to the front. Okay, I'll move on to our consent agenda. Consent agenda includes the approval of previous meeting minutes for February 25th and a request to close public street for a special event by Zach Gardner, DBA Jenner Wright Art Gallery, 915 Maple Avenue, Rocky Ford, for an art gallery opening event and art festival on Saturday, March 29th from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Street will be closed from Maple Avenue from Main Street to 9th Street. Anyone like to discuss those in the regular agenda? If not, for a motion to approve them under consent agenda.
I motion.
Make a motion, so we know.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion from Montano, second from Mullins.
To approve?
Yes.
Okay.
Call the vote.
Barone.
Yes.
Martinez.
Yes.
Mosby.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Mullins.
Yes.
Montano.
Yes.
Mayor Gurley.
Yes. Okay, consent agenda is approved, as well as all items on there. And I think before we go, I do see Zach here with us this evening. So we did receive that special request for the event, the street closure, and that was approved on the consent agenda. Yeah, come on up. Yeah, maybe if you want to even just share.
Good evening,
anything about the
everybody.
event.
I've been very grateful to be a part of this community for a couple of years now, and work really closely with some of the first responders here, with some of the charities that go on here, and I'm always looking for ways to better our community. I love being a part of it, so I decided I'm part of a very large art community, and I always try and help them as well, and this just seemed like a way that I could open up some culture to our community while helping my artist friends, and hopefully if the festival goes well, it's something that maybe we can continue, but I'm always looking for the betterment, so I appreciate you guys approving that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your efforts.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're interested, there is a flea market this weekend as well as at the end of April.
I'll think about that. I've literally pulled like 3 days straight to meet deadlines on this gallery and had to put chainsaw carving to the side, which now I'm behind on, so I'll think about it.
So you're always welcome anytime we've got anything going on over there.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Zach, thank you.
Great
And
work.
again,
Thank
just
you.
for
Appreciate
anyone listening, and I'm sure you all be sharing some information, but it'll be art gallery opening event and art festival on Saturday, March 29th from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. here in Rocky Ford. Okay, I don't have any additions or changes to the agenda, so I look for a motion to approve agenda.
Motion that we approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
Can we call the vote, Rebecca?
Martinez.
Yes.
Mosby.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Mullins.
Yes.
Montano.
Yes.
Barone.
Yes.
Mayor Gurley.
Yes. All right, we'll move on to our staff report. Stacy, if you want to kick us off with the Amanda report.
701 Sycamore demo was supposed to start yesterday. They moved the equipment in, had some issues getting the roll-offs there, but they did start today. They got a large chunk removed. No other updates on the other properties. Did hire or select Matt Wallace as our new police chief. Want to thank the committee, the search committee for the work and time that they put into helping that decision there. We had a CIRSA audit on February the 27th. They identified 37 recommendations for consideration to decrease loss control. They did an audit in August of 24, and there was 40 recommendations, so I felt that we're improving there. Big issue that we're having is the playgrounds, especially Play Park Hill. That place that was put in probably, I think it was in 95, so it's past its useful life expectancy, so we need to look at removing that and installing a new one pretty quick here. The pieces of the slide keep breaking, and we tried to repair it and it didn't hold. So want to say, and all the playgrounds need the engineered wood fiber, which we are aware of, and have to say Kuko has taken action on what can be done in-house, and he's doing it immediately. We have to write a written response and outline the abatement plans so we can earn credit on our loss control standards. Tennis courts, I received a notice from the state of Colorado, the Land and Water Conservation Fund. They come every 5 years and they do an inspection. That project was funded by the Land and Water Conservation Fund, so we have to keep those projects going at all times. And we've been lacking in that. So they've asked for a written plan to get the tennis courts up to standards, so it's basic perpetual care. I did ask if we could modify the tennis courts up there for more pickleball courts to better suit the needs of the community. They told me yes, and when I was mentioning it to Kuko, he said that they may be needing that space for another tower for communications for the water tanks. So at that point I reached out to the state and I asked if it was possible to change locations of this park, and they said it can be done. It's just a lot of paperwork on our end, but it could be done. And considering if we can work a agreement out with the school, moving the tennis courts, pickleball courts would make better sense to put at Library and Jefferson area as a possibility. So and I do have, his name's Connor Beatty from Pro Track and Tennis. He's coming on Thursday to give us an estimate to see what the courts would cost to resurface, just so we have a number. Did talk to the railroad on Friday. They came in, they were knocking on the door. It was just by luck I was walking by. They're going to be working on the crossings. They asked for assistance in closing the roads while the work is being done. I did call Rick and Kuko over for this conversation, and then we discussed the pedestrian crossway, and they are going to start putting those back in. I think he said his priority is going to be 9th Street and then Main Street. So that was good news. He did comment that Mr. Barone had been on them.
Been hung up on many times.
We're all squared away with the bond council with Butler Snow. They've been working with the Colorado Water Resource, and so that goes before their board in April. And once that's approved on their board, we're good to go on there. The sidewalks and ADA ramps at Library are nearly complete. He'll be moving to Babcock. We are on the schedule for Precision Concrete for the shaving, but no date has been set yet. Street signs, made contact with them. They did send back what the street signs were, and so I sent that to the mayor and Rick and Kuko, and we're already identifying that they didn't get all of the street names in there, one of them being Swink, and a couple other like Lincoln Street and Lincoln Avenue. So we're going to comb through that and make sure it's right when we go to order. Department updates. This was on the last report, but upcoming will be the IGA with the Rural Fire Protection District. That's up for a 2-year renewal. They did help with cleanup at Crystal Lake, and they also did some training there. They did quite a bit of work on Saturday. So thank them for that. The police department, they're keeping up with their weekly activity summary, and those numbers remain consistent. Public Works, we did reach out to Colorado Barricade on the street signs, and there was no change in cost from the quote that we got in November. So that was good news. They had several water main breaks, sewer line replacement in the alley west of Sonic. They have was that today, your sewer audit was today?
Sanitary survey today. Yes, ma'am.
So they assess the conditions, operations, and maintenance of the public water system and ensures the system complies with state and federal drinking water regulations, identifies potential risk to public health. Audits every 3 to 5 years, and our last audit was in 22. They helped to remove trees for property craft at the Sycamore site. Rocky Ford Parks and Rec, we're continuing with the Lego drive. I want to thank Tom and Jen for their donations of some Legos, and also Mia in the front office. Adult volleyball started last week, and we ended up with 22 teams between the 2 nights. And men's softball will start on Friday. We got 4 teams there, and high school baseball started today. So the parks crew has been getting the field ready to go there. Water should come in the Catlin this week.
Starting, yeah.
So once the golf course gets their system up and going, we'll be able to start watering. Rocky Ford Libraries published a monthly activity event schedule, which is nice to see. And Bloom Coffee is there on select days, so you can get coffee now at the library, which is awesome. Rocky Ford Museum, Tom's taken on a project at the museum to catalog every artifact through a program called Catalog It. We can talk more about it. It's a powerful tool for efficiently managing and showcasing artifacts and collections. So, it's not on the report, but I did start a, You Got Caught. Robert Barone came in and wanted me to know that he caught one of our parks guys going above and beyond, and he wanted him recognized. And so I thought it was a nice gesture to publicly put him out there. And he was so
Acknowledge your
appreciative.
city employees when they're doing something right.
Absolutely. And
I mean, got a lot of good employees. Let's acknowledge it.
so I challenge to keep this up. Positive things.
Appreciate it. Thank you. A couple of questions, just so the public would know. We have a new police chief. He should be officially on duty. A date.
So we have some statutory regulations that we have to follow. Consent for background check, which has been sent in, and then he'll have to do physical and psychological testing. That's a 21-day process. So we're looking at least April the 7th, if not the 14th.
Okay, so for the public, April 7th, new chief. And this one I'm going to throw out there. I don't know. It's probably going to be with the school board, and then the lifetime expectancy with the old Liberty Washington schools. The playgrounds there. Some of that stuff's not that old. It doesn't look like they're that old. If we need some, can we get with the school to? That's all being torn down, correct?
My understanding, the playground equipment is going to stay unless they feel that it's past its life expectancy. Then some of that stuff will be removed, but most of the playground.
Some of it's still pretty nice condition, yeah. But they're going to keep it now. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. That's it for me.
Any other questions for Stacy? All right, thank you. The report as always. All right, we'll move on to June and our communications report. And this will be our end of year report for the 2024 year.
Hello, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm June, Communications Director. In other words, your 911 Director. And I brought some handouts for you. Don't mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, I'm on there.
And I've
She even
got,
highlighted you, bro, right there.
I'm going to give you each a flyer as well. We are going into bad weather season, tornadoes, heavy winds, those kinds of things. Also, we're trying to push people to get signed up for Code Red. It's like a reverse 911 system, and we can get out notifications to people. It's also good for if there is any kind of disaster, right? Or if there's any kind of safety issue for the public. If we have police activity in your area, we could send you out a message to, stay in place or avoid certain areas. If there's a fire, we can let you know. Because a lot of times people, get a little bit excitable when we see a lot of smoke and fire, and we can let you know that, yeah, we know about it, and just please stay awake. Thank you. Okay, so we're just gonna, I go over real quickly kind of some totals that we had, for 2024. The top page that you have there tells you that we answered 4,324 911 calls last year. And we did that in 4 seconds or less, most of them. The national standards or the industry standards are 10 seconds. So we should be at 10 seconds at least 80% of the time, and 15 seconds 90% of the time. And our average is 4 seconds. So we're hitting that right on there. The second page gives you those totals. So we are at 97.5% under 10 seconds, which is the highest level that we should strive to get. And so we hit that under that 97% of the time. There is a number there of calls that were not answered, and the reason for that is sometimes they're abandoned. We have 300 calls that are abandoned, and that's when people call 911 and they're like, oops, didn't mean to do that, and they just hang up. Okay, and then we usually spend time calling them back and trying to figure out why. And there's also times when we have an accident or a fire, and then everybody in the area tries to call 911 to let us know, and there's just no way that we can answer every single one of those calls sometimes, and they will roll over to another 911 center. They don't just not get answered. It does eventually get answered, but sometimes we cannot answer every single one, and that doesn't happen very often. Okay. On the next page, I gave you a kind of a 5-year breakdown of all of the agencies that we dispatch for, and as well as other calls that we take care of. And our 5-year trend, so in 5 years, our calls have increased by over 50% and 17% over last year. That number is probably going to be quite a bit higher this year, because we did take on another agency. We started with Kiowa at the beginning of the year, and that's going very well. We're all getting settled in, and it's been interesting. They have so it's a different area than we have here, so the calls are a little bit different. I don't know if you guys have watched any of the news, but there's been a lot of semi-rollovers in Kiowa County with the high winds and such, so it's been interesting. You'll notice that there's some agencies on here like Colorado State. That's the DFPC. So it is the state fire engine that is stationed in La Junta, and sometimes they hop on our radio and we communicate with them when they're helping out our fire department. And they're available to the entire area. The Rocky Ford Emergency Communications is when dispatch is just taking care of calls and we don't have to give that out to an agency. Okay. And then of course we have the fire departments. They all stay pretty stable. And at the very bottom of your list, you're going to see Rocky Ford Public Works. So we do handle a lot of calls for Public Works, especially on weekends and after hours. And we started tracking those, and as you can see, they went up quite significantly in the last 5 years. Yep, about one a day on average. Yes. Almost.
We're good friends, June.
What's that?
We're good friends.
Yep, we've become good friends, yep. And then the police department, you'll see down there, their numbers have increased significantly in the last year and a half. Okay. I would attribute that to code enforcement has been very active, okay, and that is under the police department, as well as the number of officers that we have, right? Because we were down to 2 officers for a while, and with the increase in staff, they're being much more proactive. They're able to get out there more, so those numbers have increased.
So when you say police department includes code enforcement, that means people calling into dispatch,
This is dispatch.
Reporting a code violation?
Also, we dispatch code enforcement. So when he goes out to a property, he will call in, just like an officer does.
Oh, okay.
And said, hey, dispatch, show me out at this property for whatever reason, and then he'll give us kind of a disposition on that and let us know what we need to put in the notes, that kind of thing. If somebody calls in for a code violation, that's also another reason, right? So loose dogs is a very popular topic.
It could
Right?
have its own line.
Yeah,
Right.
So yes, because he does also handle the canine population as well.
All of these calls you take, are just 911, or is it 911 and non-emergency?
So all of these calls are 911 and non-emergency.
And non-emergency.
The first page, the 4,300 calls, that's the 911 calls that we take.
So you have 10,000 non-emergency.
Well, we had a total of 35,000 calls that we handled last year.
And only
So it's
4,000.
just shy of 100 calls a day.
How many people do you have on staff over there now?
Not enough.
Well,
So we try to keep 2 people during most hours, but our budget really just does not allow us 2 people all the time, which is actually standard. We should have a minimum of 2 people at all times, because we also do EMD, which is emergency medical dispatch. And along with that, you really can't get away from that call. If you're coaching somebody through CPR, you can't take that dog call, okay? You can't take that whatever other call that's coming in, they have to wait. We do have a voicemail on our non-emergent line, so please, if anybody does call us and they get that voicemail, leave a message, because what happens is that voicemail automatically goes to an email that sits right in front of us. And then we just open up that message, it'll play for us, and we can call you right back. And that's for the non-emergent line. 911s, again, they will get answered. If not by us, it'll roll over to the next 911 center, which is La Junta or Crowley County. We do answer a lot of Crowley County calls too, by the way, just because of the way the valley sits. Everything in Crowley and Alney Springs, most of those calls come to us because they hit the tower in Manzanola. So those calls typically will come to us, and then we generally transfer them over to Crowley County. There for, I think it was a couple of months towards the end of the year, we actually had to do a little bit more than that because their 911 system was down completely, was not working. So we did help them out by taking those calls and information and then calling them on their non-emergent line and giving them the information. Anybody questions? We also have texting. I want to get that out there every time because people, we don't use it very much because I think nobody really thinks to use it. But what is really important, if any of you know somebody who doesn't speak English well, they can text us, and our texting service automatically translates. So, and it translates in most all languages. So no matter what message you text to us, it will translate to us in English. We type in English, but then it translates it back to you in your language. So it's very seamless. It's worked very well. We had one citizen that used it quite often just to talk to us. You don't have to. Our non-emergent line, you can text to our non-emergent line as well, which a lot of people do not know. So if you don't have a pressing emergency and we're not answering, you can text us as well. That will go right through. So we have that capability.
So that would really help if you have somebody that's nonverbal or deaf.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You just text 911?
Yes.
What's your non-emergent line? Is that the 3344?
3344.
Just
Yep.
making sure.
Yep, so 719-254-3344 is our non-emergent line, and we are text capable on that phone line as well.
That's good to know.
Okay, and then the flyer that I brought for you guys, Code Red. Again, this is a really important program for our citizens to get signed up on that
I know, I really enjoy this. I have
I was still saying about 44 cents.
right, get signed up on that. We are holding an event at the Public Safety Building on March 26th. We'll be in the main lobby to help anybody sign up if they don't understand how to do it, or if they just want us to help. We will be there to help everybody sign up, answer any questions that you may have. We also have a customer service number that was given to us by Code Red because it was expressed to us that a couple of citizens were unhappy with the system because it wasn't working properly for them. And we reached out to OnSolve, which is the company that has Code Red, and they stated that if you've been on it for a very long time, sometimes it needs to be adjusted. Your settings need to be adjusted, and they will be happy to help you do that. So if you find that you have not gotten a notification in a timely manner, we can call OnSolve and see if we can't get that fixed for you.
So on the 26th of March, people can go down there to actually.
To the
get
Public
hands-on.
Safety Building, and we will be there to help you sign up.
Certain time?
It is
10 to
from 10 to 2. We did a sign up for Kiowa County on the 17th of February. We had 2 dispatchers go out to Kiowa County to the senior center and help the seniors get signed up for Code Red. We'll have a second one on March 17th. We're going to send somebody out to help again, to help that community, because now they're on our system, so they had to change. Their system had to change. So we sent out people to help get their citizens changed over. We will be at the library this Friday on the 14th. We've got the Code Red sign up. Telecommunicator week is coming up the second week of April. It's just a chance for us, just like First Responder Week or EMS Week. We use that week to celebrate our employees and treat them special.
That was April.
It's the second week of April, yes, the 13th through the 19th. And then we will also be participating in the Safety Jam in La Junta in June. It's going to be the second annual Safety Jam. If you haven't been there, go. It's so much fun. They gave away, it was hundreds of bicycles and helmets, and AMR is the sponsor there, and it's a lot of first responders will be there. La Junta Fire, Rocky Fire, PD, and we will be out there to join them as well.
That's the one at the city park?
It's the one at the city park, yep, Safety Jam, and it'll be on June 28th in the city park in La Junta.
Is your sign up just for people in Otero County?
No, actually, I do believe Crowley County uses Code Red as well. So when you sign up, you can sign up for with your zip code or with your address, and it'll have that area. Also, too, I believe if you travel, you can set up your notifications so that if you travel and you go into an area that a notification is being sent out, you will get that.
Thank you.
You can have multiple locations too.
Yeah, and you can choose to get them text, phone call, email, several different ways.
I need to change mine because I get them all. So I get a phone call and a text at the same time.
Are there any, this might be old school, but are there any like fallout shelters anymore?
You know, that is something that we were actually talking about. We had a director's meeting and we talked about a co-op plan and an emergency, what do we do kind of thing. That is something that we are currently working on.
Yeah, that's something that goes back a ways.
Yeah, right? Well, an emergency shelter, right?
Yeah,
Because
emergency shelter.
we have people that are unhoused, and what do they do?
Yeah, they
Right.
don't have.
What do
the
they do?
opportunity.
So we are working on co-op plans for the city. And we'll update you as we get that, or Stacy will, one of us. Any more questions?
That's it for me. Thank you very much and everybody over there, Tom, thank you.
I will.
Yes, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, June. move on to our council reports, and we'll start with Councilman Martinez.
All right. Keep it short and sweet. We went to Crystal Lake. We've been out there twice. We had one day it was just people picking up firewood. The next week, just Saturday I think, we were out there cleaning up. We were raking the forest. You know what? What was there? Maybe a dozen of us out there, but I think we made a huge impact. And then with the fire guys out there, it's going to look amazing. I can't wait to see what it looks like when it's all said and done. So thank you to everybody that was out for that. I still want a picture of you in that tree. You need to not get out of the tree so fast next time. But and then we had our library board meeting. So they did put out the calendar. It's fun to see some of the things we're doing. We've got, Bloom Coffee's down there. Small Town Project has their after school program. They've got some bingo stuff during spring break or week after spring break. Sorry, I can't read that. I will be giving this to Rebecca to post out here. And then they have Thursday, March 20th, Bensall Fort presents buffalo robes to beads at our library here. So you'd be trading fur for beads and making necklaces, learning sign language to trade. The adults do it. I didn't realize they had two separate programs. There's actually an adult program that does this, and it's pretty well attended. People think it's fun. So get your kids out there. It's a program for children of all ages. So whether you're 6 or 46, we're also children some days.
Too bad you can't get them to stay for the after school program.
Well, they'll be there, 10 to 1. But I think that's over spring break, isn't it?
Next week.
Yeah, next
Oh, it is on.
17th to 20th is spring break.
It's on spring break.
And then tree board, we haven't had a meeting, but we will be gearing up for our seed swap plant sale thing. Sometime around Mother's Day, I presume, as usual. And that's all I got. I didn't do a whole lot of stuff this week. I was busy cleaning up my own property. So,
Fireside?
yeah, fireside chat was last night. Gary attended. His kids were there. My kid was there. We had some good discussion. Thank you for coming, Mr. Reed. I welcome anybody else. We do it the second Monday right before a council meeting. So the next one will be
24th.
April 14th. Will be the next fireside chat. Yeah, I don't do two.
For
months.
April.
I don't do-
Okay, yeah, that's right.
So the next one will be in April. Maybe there'll be food. We'll see. No guarantees.
Is there any firewood be picked up at the lake?
Oh, I'm sure there's still plenty out there.
So citizens, you want firewood?
Get a hold of somebody so they can move the
City-
barricade. We'll be out there again.
Yeah, they'll have to coordinate because we put the barrier back up.
Oh, okay, all right. So,
But if you need firewood, I'll be bringing down some trees at my house. You can come get it too. So
all right, you gonna load it for me?
that's what it takes to get rid of it.
Okay, that's it for you. Then, all right, the Friends of the Grand at the Grand Theater. This month there's no meeting. Next month we will be meeting on the 17th at the theater, 6 p.m. That's the third Thursday of each month we have meetings. You can help support the Grand by attending shows. You can buy snacks, not only to eat there, but also to take out. You can put in bids on the old posters, buy you some old movie posters. You can buy advertising on that largest screen between Pueblo and Kansas. It's the largest screen, people. You want to see a movie right there in front of you with bigger than life size, that's this place to go, Rocky Ford. You can also rent the building out for whatever means, not just movies. You can show personal showings of either a movie you want to pull off the list or something you might have. You can volunteer your time or services at the Grand. You can help out any which way you can over there. Currently, they're cleaning the seats, have been cleaned. The carpets are being cleaned. It's all being done by Mr. Dees. Last week, they showed Paddington in Peru. It wasn't a very good turnout. Less than 100 for all 3 shows. I think it's showing again this weekend. Weekend after next, they'll be showing Snow White, not the original one. I'm not sure what that'd be in 2 weeks. It'll be a Snow White. People, the American Legion has asked me to reach out because they need volunteers. They're all growing old and not as healthy as they used to be, but they need help setting up flags on various holidays. So they've asked if I can do shout out for them, just putting up flags, taking them down, set up around 8 a.m., take them down around 5 p.m., maybe an hour each time. you can get a hold of Rod Rodriguez at 719-967-3336. He's the American Legion coach here in Rocky Ford. You can also,
Robert, what were those last four digits?
the last four digits are 3336.
Thank you.
And please, people, help out. It's I think the next holiday we're gonna have is Memorial Day. I think it's gonna be in May the 20th, I think, or May 25th or something. So please help out the vets and just honor nation's holidays. You can also, with the vets, you can just, you know, every Tuesday they're having coffee meeting for each other where they can meet for support and talk about various services available to them. They meet every Tuesday at 10 a.m. here in Rocky Ford at the coffee shop. The address is 209 North Main Street. So please, if you're a vet, want to go there, or if you happen to be in and out of there, go in there, buy them a cup of coffee. Show them your appreciation for everything they've done for us, for this country, or just tell them hello and thank you for their service. Also, they're going to be, the American Legion here in Rocky Ford is going to be partnering up with the one out of Ordway, Crowley County. June 14th, they're having a big event at the fairgrounds over there. They're going to have, it's open to everybody for the public, not just vets, but there'll be a lot of people there to help vets for various services and stuff that are available, or maybe used to be available. But that's on June the 14th in Ordway at the fairgrounds. I'd like to do a shout out to Black Hills Energy. I've noticed here in Rocky Ford, they've been going around trimming all the trees. They hired a contractor out of Pueblo to get all these trees done. They're doing a very good job of where the power lines all are. They've even cleaned up a lot along the Rocky Ford ditch. I haven't been able to get with anybody there, with Mr. Asherman, but they've cleaned up a lot there. They've been doing an excellent job with their warning signs, with their cones. I've spoken to those guys there numerous times, and you see them, let them know thank you, appreciate what they're doing. Shout out to Mr. Mullins, Council Member Mullins, and also Nanette, been helping him out at the museum. As it was brought up, they're changing everything over to the new digital, or whatever, I'm not sure the proper terminology. To me, it's all, they're going old school category, Rolodex, to the new school digital, whatever. Nanette helped with a lot of stuff for photographs. So thank you both, a lot of work. Tom gave me a little private tour on a Sunday. And I was amazed. It was the first time I've ever been in there. Born Rocky Ford, raised Lahana, but there's a lot of stuff in there. And it actually took me down memory road with the photographs, the movie posters, the movies that have been filmed here in Lahana. Mr. Mullins actually asked me how old I was when I told him I remember they were filming them, watching them as a child there in Lahana, filming these movies, Mr. Majestic and Centennial and Badlands. So, but thank you for everything you're doing there. And people go there. I was amazed at what was in there. You know, the fossils and everything from out south or just around here, the Indian stuff, a lot of history. Go in there, you have some time, take a tour. Everybody that was involved with the Crystal Lake cleanup, thank you all. I wasn't able to go out to help you on that one, maybe next time around. But that's about it for me. Oh, no, one more. My shout out to a local business here in Rocky Ford I'm picking on this week. Custom embroidery, screen printing, decals, signs, and more. It's the T-Shirt Palace at 400 North Main Street here in Rocky Ford. Their phone number is 719-254-3766. They're open Monday through Thursday from 8 to noon and then 12:30 to 5. On Fridays they're open from 8 to 2. Now if you go in there and you do make some purchases, they will offer discounts. You get a 20% discount off for military, for active military, for vets, and first responders. And they also give discounts for quantity discounts. If you get 50 or more items, or 50 to 74, 20% off. 75 to 99 items, 25% off. 100 plus items per order, you get 30% off your order. So please help the local communities. They did say Rocky Ford gives them a lot of business here. Maybe with the city we can give them a little bit more, Stacy. Parks and Rec. But it just, yeah, it's local. Try to keep the business local, the money local. They appreciate it. Helps our tax base. And also the most important one here, Colorado Crisis Services, free confidential 24/7 support. It's you can call 1-844-493-8255 or text TALK to 38255. It's a crisis hotline for whatever, suicide or just anything, any kind of crisis you might be in, need somebody to talk to, or if you know somebody that you think might need help, call this and maybe they can give you information on how to do it. So but please, watch out for each other, take care of each other. Thank you, Rocky, for all you do.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno.
Thank you.
The only thing I might have, anyway, the only thing I might have to bring, cause, Kuko, were you able to get any more information on what we had spoke about the curb and gutters? Are we still gonna do that or no?
Yeah, so what I'm looking at doing, or what we are looking at doing is, offering to pick up piles. We haven't got a chance to put that or advertise it out, but, if the citizens clean their curbs, pile them up, we will come out and pick up those piles so that it takes a less strain on us having to clean every curb and gutter in the city. We offer that as, it is the citizen's responsibility to clean their curb and gutter. But we would like to offer, if you clean it, it'll help us with our storm drains, we'll go pick up the piles.
Do they have to bag it, clear bags?
No, I mean, if you could just put it in a pile,
That's
call it in.
so heavy.
If it's leaves, bag it. We pick up leaves all the time.
We sell leaf bags here.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's not mostly leaves. I did on spruce from 6th to 7th last weekend or 2 weekends ago, and it was so heavy. I had to use probably 3 dozen bags to fill that and not have them break on everything. I mean, it was so much dirt and heavy.
Put it in a pile.
Yeah.
That's what
So,
that pile-
Our manpower is pretty low. You know, it'll help out. We'll work with the citizens. I mean, work together. We could clean up we could clean up a lot. And that's something we like to, we do it with the branches. We do it with the leaves. We had a call today about some branches that need to be picked up. We'll send the guys out tomorrow. They'll pick them up. It'll help us a lot. Right now, we're in preparation. Summer's coming. Weeds are starting to grow.
Weeds are coming, baby.
Weeds, grass, preparing the parks, swimming pool, getting things ready before Cinco de Mayo. It'll help us out a lot. If you clean your gutter, put it in a pile, we'll come get it. Just call in, we'll put in a work order, and we'll get it done.
Just on that topic, do we have a limb pile that citizens can take their own stuff to help you guys?
Not right now.
Not right now.
That was after that one big storm.
Well, I know we had it, I just didn't know if we
Yeah.
had one otherwise.
So with that right now, if someone does have any, can they call in?
We would be more than happy to help.
because with that wind, I mean, there's been a lot down.
That's what we've been doing this
I've got a
past week.
nice pile, I'll call
Oh
you
yeah, I'm
next.
doing a lot of cleanup at my place. A lot, so.
But that's all I have.
All right, thank you.
I don't have any updates.
Thank you.
Chamber working on membership drive. It's that time of year. Our next meeting is next Thursday, the 20th. We do currently have a full board again. Events coming up. We've got our flea market coming up this weekend on Saturday the 15th. Another one on April 26th. Spaces for that are $25 for a 10 by 10, $40 for a 10 by 20. If you want to sign up for both weeks, I'll give you a discount. Still got plenty of space available too. If you don't got anything going on those 2 weekends, come by, shop. I've got, not this weekend, but the one in April, we'll have 5 young entrepreneur groups selling stuff that are working with Mackenzie King from the Young America group, or Youth Biz. So come out and support those young entrepreneurs that have been working really hard this school year trying to get that stuff going. Other things coming up, of course, this year we are celebrating our 80th anniversary as a chamber. We've been incorporated since 1945 with the state of Colorado as a Chamber of Commerce. Hopefully we're trying to get together a gala banquet event for that coming up here soon. We'd like to get some upcoming work completed at the Gobin building before we open that up and let everybody come in and check it out. But we've got some bathroom remodeling and security upgrades getting ready to take place over there that have been approved. events, we will have, again, our flea market. Easter brunch will follow the police department's Easter egg hunt. We'll do that after that, and then we'll have another small Easter egg hunt as well on April 19th. We'll have our grown-ups who love us luncheon. That'll fall, I want to say, the week after Memorial Day weekend this year. Not necessarily a chamber event, but Cruising into Summer will be on June 7th this year. The first meeting for that is coming up this next week, so that's getting ready to happen. 4th of July, duck race, that'll happen just like usual. Hopefully Freedom Fest is bigger and better than it was last year, so I'm starting to ramp up getting ready for that kind of stuff. We've had quite a few memberships sent in and stuff like that, so it's nice to have those rolling in and having that support. So thank you, Rocky Ford and businesses, and I think that's all I have. I think. I think.
Okay, I'll be quick. The only thing I've been working on is that database. And unfortunately for the public, it's maybe difficult to get excited about what's happening right now, because we're just taking papers and cards that are old and we're putting them into a digital system. But the second stage of this process is going to be photographing everything and linking all the history that's in the museum to make it accessible to everyone over the internet. This is really important. We get a lot of people calling from outside of the state even that want to know about their relative that used to live here. A lot of our donations come from out of state even. So we want to provide that service to our students here, our citizens, and then also the larger community. This is a huge project. Right now, just the documents alone, at least 6,000 documents that are being scanned and entered and typed, and then we're entering valuations in for everything, and a bunch of boring back-end stuff. Everyone who sees this, though, is excited about it. If you'd like to come and take a look at it before it's public, you can. Right now, we're not prepared to put public because there's confidential information about donor addresses and phone numbers and such. That's going to be coming. But we need volunteers. Anybody interested in working at the museum, we have essentially unlimited amount of work for you. And anybody can do it. If you can operate email, you're qualified. That's about as complicated as it gets. Or if you're good with a camera, as Miss Mosby has showed us. She's a very talented photographer, and her husband Chuck, and we're so delighted to have them helping us with this, because that's really going to up the value to the public when it comes out. Don't forget to spay and neuter your pets.
That's usually me.
Calm down, Bob Barker.
All right,
need
so
that
we
reminder
will have the Oakley OPI board over at County Courthouse coming up on the 17th. Pension board will also be meeting in the upcoming week. Just some updates from the swimming pool. They're starting their prepping planning for the 2025 season. One of the things that they're going to be working on is replacing the grass patches and the turf patch that are inside the swimming pool. So they're going to be just putting concrete there. So they have some quotes there, and I think between the friends of the pool and then what's in our pool budget, they'll be taking care of that. Cleanups at Crystal Lake, so that we had those. Those were really more focused around just clearing up more of the brush and the downed limbs. But did a lot up there, so thank everyone who was up there. And I think even for a lot of people that were able to load up some wood, and they'll be able to reuse that in different ways. So that's always great to see those go in those cycles. The city applied for an EPA Thriving Communities grant for assessment and cleanup of some of the burned down properties. So we did receive notification that was denied. However, we did set up a meeting for a grant review for feedback. So we met with them. received some feedback, I think some pretty constructive feedback. Didn't seem like we were too off base. So we're gonna be getting that resubmitted before the March 31st deadline. They had a second round, just with some of the things happening on the federal level. This was a EPA Thriving Communities grant, which is focused on disadvantaged, underserved communities. It is equity focused, so there was some scrutiny on it. However, with some of the, some of the lawsuits against it, it seems like they're going to work to expedite these rounds. So this second one's going to be coming up at the end of this month. We're going to get that submitted, and fingers crossed on that, but we'll be sure to provide any updates there. And that's all I have. Good. All right, we'll move on to our old business. We have 4 ordinances on second and final reading. So just the first one to start. We have ordinance number 985, an ordinance amending section 77510 of the City of Rocky Ford's Municipal Code to remove references to fowl, chickens, geese, and turkeys on final reading. So look for any feedback there or a motion.
Can we just cut through this and let's motion to approve ordinance number 985, 986, 987, and 988 on final reading?
Is there any questions on 986 with the bees?
I do have one on 987, so I'd like to, we can move through these separately and address the questions as they come up.
Can we do 1.1 and 0.2 together, like we did last time?
I move that we approve 985.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 985, an ordinance amending section 775-510 of the Rocky Ford Municipal Code to remove references to fowls, chickens, geese, and turkeys on final reading.
Call the vote. We had a second on my motion for all 4. Don't we have to vote on that?
No, you didn't have a motion.
Montano did.
I have that over, so,
we actually did have
We did have a second there?
We did.
You did.
So do we have
We had a second
So for all 4 of them?
Yes.
You have to
All
read
4 of them.
each title though on the ordinances.
You gotta read it all.
I'll do it if that's what you want. Motion to approve 985, an ordinance amending 77510 of the City of Rocky Ford Municipal Code to remove references to fowl, chickens, geese, and turkeys on final reading. To approve ordinance number 986, an ordinance repealing 77550 on the City of Rocky Ford Municipal Code relating to the keeping of bees on final reading. Approval of ordinance number 987, an ordinance regulating the keeping of chickens in City of Rocky Ford residential areas on final reading. And approval of ordinance number 988, an ordinance to allow backyard beekeeping within the city limits of the City of Rocky Ford on final reading.
I would like to hear what you had to say though, about 987.
I will so what I would like to do is I would like to just provide the feedback that roosters has continued to come up and has come up more, and I would be looking to make an amendment to include a prohibition on roosters.
I think it passed last week, and I'd say we leave it alone.
I went there
already
last
seconded.
week. I went there last week,
I second the motion.
So we got to back up. So yeah, we got your
It's
motion
second
and then
motion.
second. So
All the 4? Is that
All 4.
the second
All of
one?
them.
Yeah, you read all
Let's
4.
quit wasting time.
Pardon?
So I'll make a motion to amend that motion to include a prohibition on roosters on ordinance number 987.
Doesn't Nick
We have to
have
vote
to
on it
make
first?
the amendment?
I don't think you
I
can
don't
amend
think
my
you can
motion.
put them all together.
Yes,
and
you
for the
can.
purpose of being that if you do have something that you want to argue about one motion, that you be able to argue that one motion.
We've argued about this for 4 hours already.
It would be good to have them heard separate, so that way we do have the opportunity.
We had a first and a second
we do
on
already have that
985.
first and a second.
You gotta take the vote.
So I did make a motion for an amendment.
Can I second that amendment?
Okay, so we have a motion and a second
Well,
on the amendment.
But we haven't voted on the
But we
first
need to
one.
go back to his
I made a
original.
motion to amend, so that is
But
now.
can he amend
No.
someone else's motion? You cannot.
You have not voted on the main motion.
Because that's where we thought we were at, and then somebody motioned and it went in a different direction.
Everyone, let's bring it back over here. Bring it back over here.
I think we have to take care of the first motion and second. Is
Unless
that
he
not
withdraws
correct?
it.
So
Well, Nick,
Nope, you can amend an emotion.
I made
And
the
that's what
amendment.
he
someone else
moved to
can
do to
amend
amend
the
it.
motion, the first, so he
That's
can
right,
amend
you
Nick's.
can amend a motion.
So
the
the
main motion.
amended motion is,
This
has
is
the
why
four
we get
now.
nothing done.
Has, I'm sorry,
Then when you call
has
the
four,
vote,
all four of them in it?
Yeah.
when you call the vote, you would call
They are.
all those in favor of the motion as amended.
Okay, and
If
what
it
is
passes.
the,
Bring attention over
The
here.
amendment's
what
gonna
is
pass
the
first.
amendment?
The amendment to approve
The
that
roosters?
motion with a prohibition on, with roosters as an excluded.
Okay, and that needs to be changed in the wording,
In-
because it's already been published once,
In
so.
ordinance number 987.
So we'll have to, do we have to, read that one again?
If we amend it, JR, do we have to read it again for a
Because
third
it's
time?
already been published the first time on first reading.
This would be our second, so any amendment here, this would be the final
No,
reading.
it's just, I think I have to run it
It's
twice,
the final reading.
but it'll be all right.
It's been
It's by
run.
title only.
It
So
was,
There
but,
could be amendments to what was run.
okay. So,
What are we
So
voting
we
on?
have a.
so who made your second, amendment?
Second
For the
from
Nicole?
amendment of roosters.
Roberts.
Okay. Okay,
Yes, I seconded
The
Wayne's
amendment.
amendment.
okay.
Call the vote.
Mosby,
Yes.
Roberts,
With the amendment.
yes.
Yes.
Mullins,
No.
Montano,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Mayor Gurley.
Yes. Okay, so that, motion
That's all
passes
four, right?
6
All
to
four
1.
chickens,
Wait.
no roosters.
Let him state the amendment.
That motion, on the amendment passes, 6 to 1. And the amendment was to approve all four ordinances with the amendment to ordinance number 987, which would provide a prohibition on, roosters. So roosters would not be allowed.
Cool. Get your chickens, people.
Let's do
Another make
this.
tomorrow.
So that motion has passed. I'll just re-clarify. We have had ordinance number 986, an ordinance amending section 77510 of the City of Rocky Ford's Municipal Code to remove references to fowl, chickens, geese, and turkey has been approved on final reading. Ordinance number 986, an ordinance repealing section 77550 of the City of Rocky Ford's Municipal Code relating to the keeping of bees has been approved on final reading. Ordinance number 987, an ordinance regulating the keeping of chickens in the City of Rocky Ford's residential areas has been approved on final reading. Ordinance number 988, an ordinance to allow backyard beekeeping within the city limits of the City of Rocky Ford has been approved on final reading.
You didn't put the amendment in there at all.
It's, we already approved that, but it's reading the titles.
Okay.
So those have all been passed on second reading. So
Get your chickens.
Councilman Martinez, thank you for taking the lead on this
What do you
again.
wanna argue about next?
And, yeah, so, everyone, if you have questions about what is allowed, what isn't, this will be posted here at City Hall before you'll see it online. So I would encourage, people to, look at that and the website as well. We'll have the ordinances posted on there so you can, look on there and you can kind of read through the rules. Councilman Barone also did ask that we provide some sort of literature, some guides or maybe some frequently asked questions, and that's something that we'll work on to be able to provide that and just how people have a good understanding of what this allows and what's not allowed. JR?
Did you vote on the main motion as amended? You only voted on the amendment, I think. Isn't that correct, Rebecca?
Well, you told me that it was, they were voting on the first motion as amended, so that's what we voted on.
Okay,
Sit down,
and
Sue.
they did vote on the first
Yes.
one, okay. Thank
As
you.
amended.
Sorry.
Mr.
Are we
Mays.
allowed to
Mays
have
has a
12 chickens
question.
then?
12.
Chickens.
12 is the limit there.
An adult is means egg
Just gotta
laying.
find where we can buy chickens. They're sold out everywhere.
Oh, really?
I don't want to make this big argument.
Hey,
They do now.
message me in the
They
morning, I'll
keep
show you,
getting them.
I'll give you the contact
They've
info
gotten
for my lady.
over and over again.
You can get some chicken.
Went to Americana.
All right,
think
great
she's got
work,
some.
everyone. I'd say
It should say
thank you to everyone for providing the feedback, getting it to where it is. This is something that has it's important. It's come up before, it's come up again, and now we.
You're correct, it was typed wrong. That should say no more than 12 adult chickens.
What does it say?
It
Just says chickens.
Chickens, 12
Doesn't
chickens
say
altogether.
adult. Adult was what we pushed through last time. Yeah, that was what we agreed on. And it's not typed up properly
You
there.
just voted yes to this amendment.
I didn't make any changes to it, so if you had amendments,
Oh, we can amend this on the next session.
Well, we can make any
Goodness.
improvements.
yeah, I need to have those in writing, maybe, the ones that.
I
what
tried to
wanted.
to you on paper, and then you said you wanted them in email, so I emailed them to you, and I don't know what I'm supposed to send. That's
No,
why
I
I'm-
typed up what you gave me, but if you made an amendment on it, I need to know about it.
Well, it was.
This is tonight's.
All right, so yeah, we'll follow up on that. Last thing that I want to say to this is, it's been something that has, been contentious enough for it to take this long, and we do recognize. I want to recognize that there are people in the community who would prefer people not to have chickens, would prefer their next door neighbors not to have chickens. So what I want to challenge all of us, and those who are excited about this and who are planning to keep backyard chickens or bees, is just please be as responsible as you can. There's cleanliness issues, there's noise issues. As much as possible, do what you can to take care of them and be a good neighbor. And please don't. I'd say don't ruin it for the rest of the people. Hopefully this works out. Everyone does what they're supposed to do, takes care of them, and it provides the benefit to their household that's it's intended to. All right, we'll move on to
That
new
should be,
business.
do I have to go through a whole amendment to get that typo fixed? Because what was sent does say adult chickens, and that needs to be cleared. We discussed that for well too long. I sent it to her in email. I don't know why it's not a copy and paste
This is
situation.
what we all voted on.
Yeah, we got to go with what was posted, and then we made an amendment, and so that would have been our opportunity.
So the difference between what adult being in there and not being in there is that you wanna be able to have 12 adult chickens and you wanna be able to have chicks, or
I want to be able to, as my flock ages, be able to be replacing them while the older ones are raising the younger ones to teach them, and then the older ones go away, so I'm still within my 12 egg-laying adult chickens. I'm okay with the roosters being gone, that's fine. But if we're replacing and we're rotating flocks, the right way to do is to have them raised by a hen who knows what she's doing. And then when she's called from the flock, I'm back to my 12. That is what we approved before we passed it on. You're right, maybe I should have read those
and what
closer.
was published doesn't say adult in it?
But what was emailed to our city clerk and was emailed to you guys.
I don't get them printed to me and handed to me.
I raised a bunch of chicks. Two adults, and
it's
they
in my
didn't have a
email.
hen, teach them how
So,
to lay eggs. They did.
Either way on this, we'll have to revisit this. But
Well, then we need to figure something out about that, because if she's not able to receive it and just copy and paste it, that we need to figure out whatever that looks like, because I'm sending it from the email and the Chromebook that was given to me by the city, I don't see what the problem, I pull it
Nick,
up and copy and paste everywhere.
Let's also hold accountability for ourselves as the policy makers. We're the ones responsible for writing these.
And I did write it,
it's
and then I gave it
really,
to her how
you
she
know,
wanted it, so.
I'll say thank you to Rebecca for taking that from you and doing the work of typing it up, but that is not her responsibility at all. So, you know, we can work on this and get it fixed. It sounds like everyone is kind of in the same place on it. But we'll go.
Well, when I bring it to her on paper, I'm told that's not the way to bring it. I bring it all to y'all on paper. I gave her a copy, and then that's not the right way. I just need to know what is the accepted way that we're doing this moving forward, so it's done that way. That's all I wanna know.
The templates that you see that we have here is pretty much exactly what you could use. It's a Word document.
And that's what I sent her.
And you can take that and make any, create ordinances or amendments. And that's what we would look at and present.
Okay, whatever.
Well, he wants to be able to rotate them in, so he wants to get chicks so he wants to have 12
We already voted on it, can we, point of order?
Yeah, thank you, Robert. Okay, so we are moving on to new business. We have item
13.5.
Thank you. All right, so, I'm looking at my old copy. We do have, under old business, item 13.5. It's our contract for legal services. So if everyone's had an opportunity to review that, if anyone has any feedback, for a motion just to approve, entering into contract for legal services, and that would be with Hoffman, Parker, Wilson, and Carberry, to provide city attorney services for City of Rocky Ford. And
when
then
does
just,
that take effect?
it would take effect today,
Today?
whenever on approval.
Okay.
Kind of next steps is they will schedule some time with us. It'll be kind of to start a phone call with Stacy and I, and then from that, I think we would invite them to come down and visit. If we can either set that, maybe for one of our work sessions, or have them come to make the next council meeting.
So should we meet them before we approve this? Or,
I know we did talk about like a Zoom.
I know we did talk about wanting to
Face to face.
talk to them a little
But not-
bit before we approve it.
it'd be on the premise if we are going to approve it. But
Well,
it'd
yeah.
be nice to be face to face, or
Or Zoom, or,
Zoom
I
to
mean,
face, however that works.
hi, who are you?
For what it's worth, I mean,
Because
the
we're only gonna have
resumes
two
all I
attorneys
care
basically
about. I
dealing
really
with
don't
this.
care what
Yeah, the
they
whole firm, but there's only two.
look like.
Are you looking to do an interview and review,
No,
or
just
what
to meet
would be
people.
the intention?
Like
Meet and greet, they can tell us about themselves and other than what.
And
So
then-
is it possible after the meet and greet, we would decide that we don't want to enter into agreement with them?
Well, that was the only one that bid on
See,
this,
that's
right?
Right.
And if we don't go into an agreement with them, we're still kind of on a case-by-case basis with Nathan, right?
With the whole deal was, he had too much on the
He's busy.
But there was no conflict with them doing the Zoom meetings and everything?
No. No, they provide services for some of our neighbors and others around rural Colorado, and that's,
Canyon City being
so we would
close.
we'd be looking to them to even provide some recommendations on how we can accommodate.
I mean, I feel like they,
kind of stuck it.
We all kind of.
They're-
like them.
specialty is what they do, is what we're looking for. I mean, we need an attorney, but we need somebody that,
Wow.
We really gotta start recruiting this shit.
To be honest, I would even be in support of that.
We can't have to
read being,
read that.
over the digital means instead of having them come out here.
36 square foot per.
If it costs different, which I assume it
That's
would.
what they changed it. It's 3, not 36.
It can be
It's 100 square
fixed,
foot per bird.
Nick,
It's 10
it can be
foot per bird.
fixed.
So there's.
Okay, let's bring it back to,
Sorry.
this other
Work
conversation
my
here.
ass off on it to have it.
So, I don't agree with I mean, we're approving the law, I just would, it'd be nice to meet who they are, so that we know who we're working with. I mean, if it's Zoom, that's fine. But, I mean, we're looking to approve that, I just don't know if we need to meet them to approve it face to face, or if we can approve it and then meet them, I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, that's
what
kind of
is-
that's our, at
What
our
is
discretion.
consensus of council? Right now, we're looking at, we have an agreement, that was sent over, and then after this, we would kind of start our onboarding with them. Would council like to table this and set up either a separate meeting to meet with them, or invite, or set up a meeting at our next, one of our upcoming meetings?
I wouldn't, I find it imperative that we get council on board immediately.
We're not without counsel. You say that like we're without counsel, but we're not without counsel right now. We have counsel. He's.
Let me rephrase that, I think it's imperative that we get this council on board.
So you're just looking for a motion to approve this contract then?
If the discussion.
If that's where, is that where we're at? I mean, that's what we're doing either way, right?
That's what's gonna happen.
We could deal with the meeting them later. So, I mean, just motion to approve the contract for
One
legal
of the things,
services.
and not sure if, there's a concern of whether or not, we're gonna wanna continue doing business with them, but, city attorneys are, very at will, so that contract can be terminated at any time. A 30-day notice is preferred. Our municipal judge and our city attorney, our city manager, do require contract and do require, different things for separation. City attorney is the one of our 3 appointed officers that, can be, we can separate with at will, truly at will.
With that, I make a motion that we approve the contract for, legal services,
And authorize Dwayne to sign it.
and authorize Dwayne to sign.
There you go.
With, Hoffman, Parker, Wilson, and Cranberry, PC. Carberry, thank you.
That's second.
Okay, we have the motion from Mullins, second from Martinez. Will you call the vote, Rebecca?
Barone,
Yes.
Martinez.
Yes.
Mosby,
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Mullins.
Yes.
Montano,
Yes.
Mayor Gurley.
Yes. Okay. So we will get this signed, return to them, and we'll set up some time, to do our onboarding, and that first step in that would be to, meet with them. So we could, would you all like to ask them to come down in person for the next meeting? Or we'd be good to
I
just
would-
start with Zoom?
If there's a price difference, I say save the city the money.
Seems
I
like
mean,
they-
definitely, yeah.
That's what I want to
Yeah.
say, $350 an hour times
Tell them that
$5.
we'll be more than happy to host them if there's no fee to be. Otherwise, it's Zoom.
I'll check on that and we'll see, and if possible, get it down, but if it is kind of a matter of that, hourly cost, then we'll work on doing the Zoom.
Yeah, if they can do like as a favor for a new cut line, great.
So I think even too, we will have a work session coming up, our new work sessions are gonna begin next week, so I'll see if maybe we can set some time, for that, and then we would be ready for them, next regular meeting.
So if we're doing work sessions on the first and third Tuesdays from 2 to 4, does that mean we're not doing work sessions prior to the meetings and we don't have to be here till 7?
Right.
Okay, just clarify.
I think we should keep them.
We can always change it up if we need to have one.
We can. Just trying to clarify.
It was 2 to 4, right? First and third Tuesdays.
And what days will
So
those
we'll
be?
work session opposite weeks. So first
They would be
Tuesday, we'll work session 2 to
first-
4, Tuesday, the second, we'll just do it.
They would be first and third Tuesday.
Yeah.
First and third, yeah.
2 to 4.
Yes, and then on second and fourth Tuesdays, we don't have to be here till 7 for the actual meeting, not a work session ahead of time. That would be nice in the summer.
Just keep in mind, if you have kids you're picking up at 4 o'clock.
What time, 2 to what?
2 to 4.
Thank you.
Yeah, might ride the bus to him.
New business already.
Alright, yep, now we'll move on to our new business. Yeah, Jeff?
Real quick question. Did I hear you say that the work sessions will be 2 to 4?
Yes.
On the
First
first
and
and third Tuesdays. No prior to meeting work sessions.
Alright,
That's
we'll
all right.
move
I
on
don't have
to
to
new
go to
business.
school board.
We have item 14.1, which is city manager performance evaluation. So Stacy has been with us, started in an interim role just about a year ago. I think we finally, the decision was made and Stacy was brought on as full-time city manager in June. Part of the contract was that we would perform an annual evaluation. That kind of happens in the beginning of the year. So council did provide those performance evaluation ratings, and they were able to get those over. We compiled those into a report, and we met with Stacy today at our special meeting earlier today for an executive session to go over that performance review. So now kind of just open it up for any discussion. One of the things that we're looking at is the compensation and contract renewal there. So that was shared, and the proposed change right now would be a salary increase, which would equate to a 3.4% cost of living increase, as well as a 5% merit increase. And then there would be a change in the contract, a proposed change in the contract to the automobile clause, which previously said that the city of Rocky Ford would provide a city vehicle to the city manager. The proposed change would be that the city would provide a monthly allowance of $500 for use of her personal automobile for city business. So it would be removing that city provided vehicle and providing a dollar allowance. So kind of open it up for any questions.
Concern I have is, I know Stacy, you said you'd agree to the mileage thing portion there, but for the personal use of personal vehicle, city business. But to me, I mean, we just agreed to purchase a truck, $11,000 a year, 5-year lease to own. We're gonna be paying $6,000 a year just for personal use. 5 years, that'd be $30,000, and granted, a vehicle will cost more than 30, but I mean, how much more? I'm just, to me, it's just like you said, it's just.
Well, that's just on your point though, that's maintenance and gas and everything. So it's.
Yeah, we're not covering insurance, maintenance, gas, oil.
It's a significant savings.
There's still a liability, some liability to the city, even with her.
There's a little bit, and I would support making an amendment that if it's going to be used, if personal vehicles being used for city usage, that there's a liability insurance requirement of the $250,000 minimum. I don't know if that's enforceable.
Yeah, I don't think we can enforce it.
Auto insurance is one of those weird things. It is something.
The
And
only
health
thing that
insurance,
states-
you can't, the state can't force you to have it, and they enforce certain limits.
Yeah.
Whether the city wields that power, I don't know, but I don't suspect that Stacy's really gonna put up much of a fight if we
Do
suggest
we
that.
not have to by statute though? I mean,
It's
for
30.
for
It's-
motor vehicle?
It's 30,000 is the
Yeah.
minimum
Oh,
coverage,
for-
which doesn't
to get
really
your,
cover like
Whatever.
a scrape.
So I think what the, and I'm not sure if you want to clarify, but it sounds like the amendment would be setting the specific dollar amount. Cause as is, it says that the city manager is responsible for paying for liability, property damage, and comprehensive insurance coverage upon such vehicle and for all expenses attending to the purchase, operation, maintenance, repair, and regular replacement of said vehicle.
Yeah.
So it's saying that she does have to, carry liability, property damage, and comprehensive.
So that's
would
full
it be
coverage.
would you be looking to set a minimum?
Yeah, I honestly don't care about comprehensive coverage. That's gonna cover the vehicle. If she wants to replace the vehicle, if it gets damaged, I don't care. It's injury to people that is the real concern, and that's your liability So your general liability, I think, Mr. Barone said that, when he used personal vehicles in his previous job.
We had 300,000 we had to meet on the
It was
river.
300,000. That's what I personally carry is, well, I carry 500. I carry 300 on motorcycles because I don't think I can injure anybody except for myself on the motorcycle, but,
My car's not working.
And this
it's
is
not a
for,
significant change.
would it be just the 250 is what you're putting out? That'd be per incident, or if there would be multiple, or?
Well, insurance is always per incident for liability. They'll just drop you if you have too many of them.
Yeah.
I'm okay with putting a minimum in there of 250,000. I mean, if that's what it is.
I mean, I think it would help him, and I think it is smart for the city.
I don't see Stacy as a bare minimum kind of person. I feel like she's driving a car that is
Should you
financed.
And
Financing requires you to have full coverage insurance. I mean, putting a minimum in there, I don't think it's gonna make any difference. I mean,
Well,
she's
yeah,
gotta make a phone call to her insurance and say, I need the levels and it change to this, what's it gonna cost me?
No, it's not gonna make any difference. Full coverage though is it only requires 30,000 for liability in Colorado, which should be illegal.
Yeah, that doesn't go far.
No, it doesn't. But yeah, I mean, and yes, Stacy's probably not the minimum person, but if we ever have a situation where some similar agreements worked out with another employee, this might be used as a template there too. And we start running into this risk where, okay, eventually we will have somebody that doesn't have enough coverage and they injure somebody and they're
But this
$30,000.
is Stacy's contract, it's not anyone else's.
I mean, if we're not in support of that amendment, I understand. I just made the case for it.
I'm okay with it.
And this one, like I said earlier, the way the ordinance city has right now, if an employee uses a personal vehicle for city business, they have to get prior permission, which she would already have, she's the manager. But,
This wouldn't be a government vehicle. That would be
well, no, I mean, first of all, but, it's just,
Yeah, if someone wants to use their personal vehicle for city business, they need prior approval.
yeah, so this won't be in conflict of any way with that one there, with the insurance limits or anything, the way it's worded for them?
Being this in the contract, this would be that prior approval.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, in the city right now has for other employees, when we did the budget, or there's a clause in there, if a city employee, for whatever reason, has to use a personal vehicle to go somewhere, for city business, they have to get prior approval, and they will be reimbursed at rate,
Right.
IRS rate. So now, just that, for those, that this isn't gonna hinder or come in conflict with any of that, is it?
No,
This is her contract, this doesn't
Oh,
affect
so, okay,
anyone
well, I'm
else.
just saying, when it comes to
This
legal
is her
stuff, you're.
contract.
I get that, so it's saying, would Stacy using personal vehicle also then be
Trigger the
able
other.
to trigger that where
Somebody
she
else
submits-
might ask.
No, not someone else, where she would then submit a reimbursement, which is what that policy states.
But this would trump
But this
that.
already trumps that by saying that she's responsible for all that cover. And that even trumps that dollar amount. This says right here, she is responsible for all of the expenses to do with that. So that doesn't matter if she wants to carry basic liability or if she wants to carry the max. The city's covered. The city's tail is covered.
This is where we need legal.
The city's,
So I think we're
insurance
good.
wise, that's not correct. As an agent, I can tell you.
Well, if she gets in a wreck and her insurance doesn't cover, that's on her.
No,
I don't think she's
it
going
will
to.
be
She's
on the
working for the
city.
But she has to inform her insurance company that she uses her
About how much
vehicle
more
for
is
work.
it from,
It's not an expensive
It's-
increase,
to increase it to?
like probably $30 a month. It's what we're talking.
I've never seen anything that cheap, but I have to sell
I
insurance.
pay $80 a month for 4 motorcycles and 3 cars. Cheap. Full coverage. $300,000.
So if I go see you and I don't get that.
Alright, let's bring it back to this.
I think it's fine. I don't think we need the amendment. I think we should just.
I also have insurance. I can't guarantee that rate.
So I think, kind of, any comments as far as this, if there are changes anyone would like to see? Right now, we can make strikes in this and we can make amendments, and then,
Bring it back next time or just make
Propose-
an amendment now?
we can make an amendment now and propose that. But before we get into the motion, let's, we're kind of having discussion, so if anyone has more discussion on this, or wants to speak anything, I'd say this, we'll stick to the contract.
I'm fine with Mr. Council members Mullins' amendment, I'm fine with that, and then, the only other question was, the other employees, they're gonna be dealt a little bit differently than hers, so as long as there's no conflict there, if they use their vehicle.
Their policy's their policy, what's in her contract is what's her deal.
And the 500 covers everything.
That's what she gets.
So if I made a motion to approve as
Let's hold on to the motion.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion here? Alright, so one of the things I would like to do is just kind of, if we can kind of just take a round, and, right now we are, talking about the performance evaluation, and, if there's anything we'd like to share with Stacy that, is appropriate for public
Nothing
meeting.
that's confidential.
Yeah.
I don't have anything. I think we've spoken.
I'm comfortable with where it will be, how we left it during.
I'll make a comment though, just so that the public knows, my personal feelings is that we're very lucky to have Stacy here. She's done an amazing job, with honestly very little direction, and I think everybody knew that it was gonna be a very difficult job to walk into, and I'm proud of what she's achieved for Rocky Ford. So that's all I'll say.
Woohoo. Alright.
I totally agree with Mr. Mullins.
Stacy, appreciate it. Like we kind of led with, so you came into this position, had a lot going on, so you knew you were coming into a lot, and you let us know that you were confident in your ability to do that, and you were appointed as our city manager. So here we are, almost a year since you stepped into that role as interim, and from the community, from council, and just you kind of knowing the general consensus of the organization as a whole. We are behind you, we support you, and we appreciate what you have done and what you'll continue to do. And as we kind of propose this, there's a cost of living adjustment, which is standard, but then also a 5% merit increase to compensate, for the work that you have done in that competence. So,
Thank you.
And
Thank you for the opportunity.
If there's anything you want to speak to.
No, I just thank you. Thank you for your support. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for all your hard work.
So now we'll look to anything on the contract you want to make amendments to.
I would like to move that we approve it with the amendment that the vehicle be required, the personal vehicle be required to carry $250,000 per incident, $500,000 maximum per incident. $250,000 per person, $500,000 per incident, general liability coverage.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilman Mullins with an amendment to number 9 under the automobile, and we have a second from Councilwoman Roberts. Call the vote.
Martinez,
Yes.
Mosby,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Mullins,
Yes.
Montano,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Mayor Gurley.
Yes. Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you.
We voted unanimous on that.
Alright, our next item will be new business 14-2, and it'll be the discussion street sweeper purchase. So Rick, if you want to present.
Rick.
Somebody wake up Rick.
She can't tell me. If you threw something at Kuko, throw something back.
Yeah, he was interrupting me.
Story of your life.
Please.
Here, just let me.
How you doing? Pretty good. How are you guys today? Street sweeper, right?
I did give him your hand.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. There you go.
Contract for Stacy.
Oh, you want it?
Yeah, we're gonna shred these, because they're confidential. I know, I have notes on it too. Thank you.
Are we chicken nuts? I appreciate that. Thank you, always good.
I started gathering and thought we'd get it before everybody ran away. Are there 7 there? 6 or 7 at least?
Yes, sir. Am I correct? There were 3 choices you were looking at?
No.
That should be right. except
Somebody put
just
that
minus
one in,
weights.
Yep, thank you so much.
That's more of a neat sweeper, but
We're sharing.
sidewalks.
Okay, so it's 2.
I mean, well, I'll state my case. We'll see what-
Yeah, for him, not
You never know what's going
He
to
makes the schedule.
Yeah.
But no, we should
Last
not.
time they had that Timco
Based
came
on
out.
what we discussed, we should
Yeah,
not
the
be here.
regenerative air
That
sweeper.
should be there.
Say how I feel about that.
We've already set the meeting schedule for the year. I don't think we can change that. Can we change it? But you don't
Get your numbers at 29, that's a 7 day.
wanna have to take a break.
Some of them look a lot
It's a
alike.
kid's
Speak at the
event
camera.
in the summer.
Rick is up here with
I'll
us.
share it.
We're gonna be discussing the street sweeper.
Well, you guys just, what would you like to know? I didn't even know,
I know one question that was raised earlier by Robert was, do we know what it would cost to repair and make the one we own operational? Just for our information.
we had it at one point and it was astronomical to get it fixed. It was,
So, but these
I
are
do-
astronomical as well, so
Yeah.
I think we just kinda wanted to compare.
I mean, I can get that for you and get it to you. It was beyond our scope
To get that number.
last time we did it.
You're gonna have to pay a mechanic.
Well,
It's
well,
been
but
sitting
he-
for what, 3
Well,
years?
it was the entire water system, the hydrostatic, on a Pelican, it's hydrostatic drive. It's not a transmission, and that was damaged. We bought it used, it was in pretty tough shape when we got it.
Engine still runs though, right? My understanding, the engine still runs?
It'll probably start up, yeah, I mean, we can get it fired up, but the entire water system, but the biggest expense was the hydrostatic drive. It's not a regular transmission in a Pelican. And it was way more than what it was even worth.
They're stupid expensive.
And then anybody that's looked at it would give us scrap weight for it. So we brought people, Bruckner's out, we brought firms that, you know, if it was worth anything and they could put some money in it, they would have taken it. And all we got offered was scrap weight on it.
So if we were to buy one, would it be trade-in value?
I mean, again, scrap, I mean, when we find one that you guys want to agree on, we can sure go there. I couldn't answer what they would give us now at this point in time.
So I guess one of the questions I have is, on all 3 of these units, will they come with a service contract?
Well, no, the ones that she put in there used, I mean,
They're all used.
two of them, I think there was a $25,000 add-on to retrofit them and get them all up to grade, new gutter brooms, drags, main broom. You gotta realize, I guess the biggest thing for tonight is to see which direction you guys wanna go, mechanical or regenerative air. And I drove a street sweeper for Palo Alto for 8+ years, drove a route, and regenerative air sweeper was punishment to us. When one of the Elgin Pelicans went down, we had Timco back up the regenerative air sweepers. I don't know who was here. I know you were here when we had that demo, and they came out. But regenerative air was always our backup choice. And if we had one go down and had to go into service, we had to take a Timco out, and everybody hated life when we had to do it. So,
Yeah, and it's not something that's very conducive for our streets.
well, it's just a fixed head. We have crowned, I'd say 80% of our streets are crowned from over excessive crack sealing.
And that fixed head just has a hard time. You've got a suction head and you got air coming in and suction going up, and they just don't perform as well as a mechanical sweeper does and a Pelican.
I mean, personally, I'm happy to defer to your expertise when it comes to what type of equipment is needed. My concern is about the sustainability of the program and how we're going to fund it, because it's one thing to throw 90 grand at a street sweeper. We also need to account for the labor and the repair of the vehicle and the other expenses involved.
And I tried to include that in that handout that you got, and
yeah.
I'm not seeing pricing on these, and I just pulled up the email and I don't see it.
And I tried to do that too when I was sitting back there, and I thought we had a pricing sheet on it.
Well, yeah.
We're about 125K. They're around 100 to take them as is, and they were 25K to retrofit and refurbish.
Yeah, one was 125 and one was 135.
And this one's 89.9.
Is this in the email from you, not the one from Rebecca?
Correct.
You're all used.
Yeah, all of them are used. A new Elgin Pelican right now, I mean, you can find it, but you're looking at 300K plus.
So, can I ask? So I know it's you're recommending we go with recommendation for mechanical street sweeper and route implementation. So which one of these is the mechanical?
Well, that Deluvio is kind of an odd bird because it's mechanical and regenerative air, and we demoed it, and it was a nice little sweeper, but it's more of a parking lot sweeper, more of an event sweeper, dust control. It's not a take it out and beat it every day on a route sweeper.
So is that what your
that little Deluvio that
this recommendation as you want to go with Pelican?
I would, yeah, with my experience, a mechanical, the Pelican's hard to beat. A majority of the maintenance that you're going to do on it's a main broom, gutter brooms, and you've got some drags on the side that you replace the rubber on. And in-house, that's going to be way easier for us.
So we don't have so in the email originally from McQueen to you, did we eliminate the possibility of the 2009? You didn't like that one?
No, I didn't eliminate anything. I honestly didn't even know we were considering a sweeper. And
Did I send the 09?
You sent three links. It's got the 09 and the two 2017 Pelicans. They're all Pelicans. This one's not in your original email because I think that one's from a different company.
So one of the things that I'll back us up to is when we, at the I'm not going to say the last meeting, but whenever we discussed this, we kind of handed it over to, we wanted to go with your recommendation of the Delivo from this prior conversation. And can you look at quotes on those? And then there was a question about can we get a breakdown on what the operational costs were going to be?
No,
so
operational costs like a service contract. So if it's something we can't do in-house, that it's like kind of tied up with it if we had to buy it.
Well, I think that would be once we hone down in on which
Where
ones
we're
we're
at.
looking at. But I think it was I don't know if it was Robert, but just they wanted to kind of a estimate of how you were going to be able to sustain this. So your man hours and that were I think the two items. So with this, I'm asking are you no longer recommending we go with the Delivo and you want to instead go with the Pelican?
Well, I don't ever remember recommending the
I
Delivo,
thought you
but
recommended the Pelican.
I don't remember that. I think the Delivo, in my opinion, is more of a parking lot sweeper.
So in July, when Councilwoman Fuller had brought the Timco rep down here with Intermountain,
Years ago.
you wrote this statement on July 13th and kind of gave us some your thoughts on both sweepers, the Timco and then the Delivo. And your recommendation was that we go with the Delivo.
The Delivo would be better than the Timco.
Hardline.
Yeah, the Delivo would have been better. It was a demo unit. We were going to get it real cheap, and it would be better than nothing. At that point in time, they brought it down, and we did go out and drive it, and it seemed to work pretty good. But I don't know if it would hang with the rigors of running a route 5 days a week. you
But
know.
was, at that time, we didn't have Pelican in the mix at all.
Because they weren't brought down. Jeanette only brought the other ones down, so he was only going off of what he had in hand.
Well, and I didn't
But
even know
his
she was
recommend-
bringing that
the
down.
hard line was Rick's recommendation against the Timco. So
If
that's
we
the
were gonna
one-
buy one that day, yeah, I would have rather went with the Delivo. But we've all, I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff we've gotta figure out now. An ordinance, parking's gonna be an issue. Are we gonna try to accomplish our route in, you know, are we gonna get the whole city in 10 days, 15 days?
Do you remember when the last day we would have done, when the last time we would have done street sweeping?
Oh, God, it's been a while. It's been at least 6.
Right, 2018?
Yeah, it's been a while
Okay, so none
since
of
that
this-
thing, and we had issues with it from the day we got it. I mean,
So what, I guess what would be different from 2018 than today?
we didn't set routes. They just,
Starting this service.
they got us a street sweeper and we went out and started playing with it and cleaning up sites. We did a lot of utility cuts. When we have main breaks and stuff like that, we would take it out and clean up after that. You see all the sand out in the streets now at the intersections that we dump, and we've got no way to clean it up. We would use that.
But no.
We didn't do any route
Speaking
sweeping.
to regular routine street sweeping.
We didn't ever set up routes. We never did.
Okay.
Since you've been here, we haven't.
Yeah, we've never had route sweeping since when we got that Elgin Pelican. Routes were never set up and swept.
We just did it, however.
Well, we used it where we needed it, yeah.
Because right now, I think we borrow Lahanas or whatever there.
They came down once, yeah, twice for us, I think, and swept Main Street before the parade.
These two Elgin's Pelicans that you have here, that we have in front of us, they're virtually the same, a couple of differences. You looking at them, is there anything on these pieces of equipment that the city does not need that is included with them, or something that they
No,
don't have that we might need?
it's pretty straightforward what they are. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure they're even still available. Because how long ago did I give that to you, Stacy?
This email was sent on Sunday, February 23rd.
Well, the email, but when did I give them to you? I mean, it was probably before that. So we would have to reach back out, but that's, you know, a generalization of what things are going for right now. And we can even find them cheaper. I got on auction sites today before it, and I was finding some 80,000, 90,000. And then they've got a pretty much standard across the board $25K to go through the whole thing.
And retrofit.
Well, they'll give us new drags, they'll give us a new main broom, they give us, you know, 2 new gutter brooms on it, and they check out the water system and the whole 9 yards, and they certify that it's ready to go.
Any kind of warranty in place?
And I can't tell you that. On a used one, I imagine we could get somebody to do it.
Well, if you're paying the $25,000 for the retro, does it come with any?
I couldn't tell you that
So
right now.
we can give them some guidance. So it sounds like we're not ready to move forward on this.
No, we need more.
Is there any additional information that everyone would like?
Yeah, like, so if we hone down on one, like everyone else is asking, contract, retrofit, the other thing I.
What are you looking for in a service contract? I mean.
Like, so, like, basic
Service
maintenance, like,
contract.
we can't handle in-house. Like, if something mechanically breaks down, like you said, the hydrostat system broke down.
Yeah.
If you get that covered in your extended warranty or in the service contract.
Well, then you're talking probably a new sweeper. I
Yeah.
doubt they're gonna do that for the, you know, an 18 or.
No, I get that, but I'm saying it wouldn't hurt to ask.
No, I know. We certainly would ask. And what would it cost, you know, to add on a used one too? So
this might be helpful, just kind of going back from your previous recommendation. So one of the things that you had pointed out about Intermountain was that, to your knowledge, they do not have service trucks. This means we would be sending the sweepers to Denver for every repair. And Hardline did have service. So can we look at, you know, just using that as an example of, you know, we might not have, you know, service warranties on these used things, but, you know, based on
who can come out and
based
service
on
that technology for
the
us?
different vendors,
Yep.
you know, where are we going to have the least downtime, lowest cost to keep this operational?
And we did reach out to Hardline, so Hardline was putting together some stuff, they were looking for some street sweepers also. So, I mean, Hardline is who we use for our trash truck, that's who we got our trash truck from. So there is warranty work on our trash truck, but we bought it brand new. So there are some things that can be replaced on the warranty, but most of the time, any service work we have, like they come down and they just came down and they did our brakes, our oil, we pay for that. So.
Yeah, but it still costs us a little bit. So why don't we do this? Is you guys write down what questions you might have, get them to her, and then we can I don't even know that any of these are available.
Questions that we're going to have to follow up with?
They are.
Okay.
I just want,
From the last conversation, then just to remind, last conversation is we thought we had honed down kind of taking your recommendations.
Yeah.
So we told Kuko, can you get us 3 quotes on whatever new legal model you want? And then Robert asked about a breakdown of what it'll cost. So I know we kind of have a narrative around the challenges, but if you can kind of give us a breakdown, hey, if we're to start this in June, it's going to cost us this much through the rest of this year that we didn't already plan for. So, whatever that, if that's pulling somebody off a different team or if that's hiring somebody new, give us that kind of cost breakdown, because we would use that to consider in this.
And when it comes to future equipment replacement, I think that's one thing that we need to be particularly mindful of, because we're not always going to have the 90 grand or the 100 grand to do that. So I'd like to have some sort of estimate, realistic estimate about how many years this can last us, like short and long. So that way we can plan, like, look, there's a possibility this dies in 3 years. So we need to accrue that 30 grand every year to put it away for it.
Well, and rule of thumb is we got a 5-year capital improvement replacement program for every piece of equipment we have, which has been a challenge over the years. Look at our skid steer now, and so plan on 5 years, and you replace the same should be with the trash truck and every other major piece of equipment that we have. And whether we sell it or trade it off, with the trash truck, I think we should keep the new one that is new to us now, and that would be our backup, and we get rid of the old one that we have. And so plan on 5 years for everything, but I can certainly get these answered for you. You just said they're both still available. Okay.
Well, and we need to do some work on that end too. So he can recommend a truck, but we're the policy writers. So we need to get a policy together, looking at the ordinance to have people's cars moved on their day of street sweeping. Are we doing odd side, even side? Are we doing, 9th Street and you move all your cars off of it? I don't know where they park, but so whatever that looks like, we need to get that done. Whatever signage needs to be done, should be on our end to work hand in hand with them. We've got to figure out possibly, and it's in his report, we talked about it earlier, possibly adding, like we do our mosquito spray, a couple $2 charge there for street sweeping to help build up that 5-year budget to buy a new vehicle or cover maintenance. So there's stuff on our end that needs to be done as well as what he's doing. And I'm willing to help do some of that if somebody wants to come alongside me to figure out how to write these so that we can do this right.
The ordinance would go a long way. We're definitely going to have that.
Because we've got to be able to give you some teeth that if somebody doesn't move their car, you go to the big cities, you don't move your car once, it gets towed.
Yeah.
They orange tag that thing, they show up an hour later and it's gone.
Well, and
They put the
we
notice
could
up
start it
and-
out. We could start the program by posting.
Right, we wouldn't do that immediately.
And I think it's going to be a learning curve on. Are we busted up into 5 quadrants, 10 quadrants? How are we going to be able to go out dumping? Where are we going to dump? Is another issue. How are we going to pick up dumping? If we dump on the street, then you've got another guy got to go out in a loader, and then you got another guy's got to go in a pickup truck. The one thing with the hydrostatic on the Pelican is your deadhead time's nothing. It doesn't go fast.
Very fast at all,
So if you're way out on the other side of town, we got to go all the way to the pit and dump. And one street you could fill up, or you might get 3 streets and your hopper's full, and you got a deadhead back and forth. You could be 30
and that
minutes.
thing only goes 10 miles an hour?
Yeah. And even at 10 or 15 miles an hour is scary on a hydrostatic drive. So.
And then we need to figure out funding because we're going to have to dedicate a guy to this. I mean, with our guys out there now, they're running short as it is, trying to cover what needs to be done.
Well,
in
and
the
we
city.
have
we've
some
gotta
seasonal
figure-
coming in, and, I mean, I think as
that might be a way
the
to start
learning
it.
curve on it, we could get in and do it now, and then
Yeah.
figure out if we do $1 or $2, even if the citizens would support that.
Well, how many miles of street do we have here in town?
We have 28 miles.
28 miles of street, so double that, cause there's 2 sides to every street. So we're looking at almost 60 miles that need to be done. How many miles of street a day can be done? Is this something that can be done once a month, or is it gonna be bi-monthly? Are we gonna do the whole city twice a year? How, like, the logistics of all that, you have to figure out where it's gonna be.
And that's what would
If we're
take us a
doing it
while to figure it out.
Full time, that's 2,700 some hours a year, whatever a full-time employee is.
Yeah, we could easily have a full-time employee running this route.
So, I mean,
We
are we
just-
gonna
we've gotta
are we
figure
gonna have
that
a
stuff.
full-time street sweeper, and that's what their job is gonna be, so
Pretty
we're
seasonal,
gonna
isn't
put.
it?
Well, that's what I was just about to ask, if it is seasonal, or is this?
Well, in our area, we don't get a lot of snow.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
seasonal
it's not
isn't
getting there.
here, I mean, we have such a temperate climate that we get
I mean, yeah, you're
snowstorms
not
how
running the week
often.
you have a snowstorm, but the next week it's 70.
Yeah, exactly, like,
So-
right, this week.
But I just wanna make sure that we ask these guys to do something that we need to make sure we're supporting them and we're behind them and doing what we need to do. Cause if he comes in and says, hey, this is the truck I wanna buy, we go out and purchase it, but we've done none of this stuff.
Well, and we're excited to do it. I mean, this would help us immensely. This would save us big time to get a sweeper and get a program
Yeah.
and get it dedicated and get it rolling. There's just a whole lot more working parts to it than just say get a sweeper and roll.
Hey,
And
you
I think
can
that's
tell
what
me-
happened to us
You know,
last time.
How many hours,
I'll volunteer
running
some
hours
hours.
do these typically last? You know, this one's got 3,000, this one's just.
It's all in how they were taken care of.
Exactly,
You
so
know,
I
it's-
mean,
you
if
could-
we're running a full-time street sweeper, that's 2,080 hours a year, if they're running.
And the
40 hours
Pelican's
a week,
pretty
52
durable.
weeks a year. Is it gonna last longer than that?
What are
or
those
is it not?
17s? So those are 8 years old. They've only got 4,000 hours on them.
About
That's-
2 and
Depends how they used it.
3.
No,
Well, they're both
So maybe only a
Uh,
couple
right
years
at
to run.
about
Yeah.
there.
I mean,
They could be coming from municipalities with multiple units.
yeah.
I mean, and we never know how they've been maintained, we don't know what, can we get service records on these kinds of things?
Yes, I'm pretty sure we
Sometimes, yeah.
can.
Most of them have.
Carfax.
So
They're all-
can we get kind of three move
definite.
forward quotes? You know you're gonna hear questions
Then I'll
about,
start reaching out.
you know you're gonna hear questions about warranties, service contracts, so anything like that that you can gather
Certainly.
from them.
Maintenance
Certainly.
records.
And again, we're excited for the opportunity. I hope nobody thinks that we don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's just a lot of moving parts on it.
We figured you might want one of these instead of paving some streets. We were, you know, we're it's a give and take around
Yeah,
here. We
no,
can't do
How much
everything every
streets you
year.
get for $90,000 these days?
Not much.
How much?
56.
But if we can though too, I mean, what we have now that, you know, is it repairable? If it is, how much? Estimates?
Well, I mean, I could try to get somebody back out. When we had it looked at last time, it was
If you can
beyond the
find what it
realm of
was
trying to fix
last
it.
time, I think that's more than sufficient. I don't think we need to pay somebody to come out and
Yeah,
look
we-
at it.
Well,
looked
no,
at
I
it
mean,
before.
we have, you have a mechanic, right? Somebody that can kind of,
I don't
We
know.
don't have a sweeper
I
mechanic.
know, but I mean, you know,
Well, we know one thing that the water system on it, it was cracked. We had leaks on it when we first got it, and you couldn't keep water in it, and they had to replace. That was on part of the quote, but I'll dig through and see what we've got, and we can certainly trade that in if somebody will
yeah,
take
and if,
it.
yeah, when you get your estimates.
We couldn't get anybody that wanted it last time we were looking, and there was somebody to haul it off or something.
Yeah, but even too, this came up last time, and we did talk about, you know, even if it was $1, you know,
It's
that's
more than just-
another asset that's sitting in our yard taking
No, I
space.
agree, 100%.
That, I know we've talked about before, you guys looking at some of those assets that can be disposed of.
And we are, we have
hopefully see that
actively.
soon, so that we can start clearing up your yard and
Let's
know
get rid
that
of some stuff.
every piece of equipment that's sitting in your yard is something that we're using out there. So a couple things I got those quotes on our side. I think, you know, everyone kind of start thinking about what an ordinance looks like. Start having those conversations with people about you know, what that fee could look like. So on our side, let's start having those conversations and looking at that and coming back together on this again at our, you think we'll be good with 2 weeks?
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah,
I think that's a good start anyway.
So yeah, we'll, table this to our next meeting.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you guys.
Well, just for reference, currently at that mosquito spray that we charge $2 per household per month, generates about $42,000 annually.
Yeah, we did that math earlier. That's
Yeah.
good.
So I have a whole
I'd like
calculation
to-
on what mosquito
We are
spray
gonna
costs
order
us.
mosquito spray. We need to order mosquito spray and that's coming up now. So,
I'm sure it's gone up from $3,800 a drum.
we'll
What do
get
you
that
use
price to you, but what we use,
We
the
rotate
state,
every year.
the state requires us to use bee-friendly,
That's exactly why I
Spray.
was asking.
but that also reduces the amount of mosquitoes that we can kill. So it won't kill larvae. It only kills anything that's active. So that's why we spray in the evening, is because bees aren't active in the evening.
Yep, they're all sleeping there.
So we spray in the evening when the mosquitoes are more active. And the bees, so I seen the question asked, and no, it
Well, the
does not
larva
kill
is
the
more of a
bees.
homeowners, it's standing
Yeah,
water.
you gotta do it your standing water.
Yeah, if we don't get
If
homeowners
you
that
don't
get
put your
involved
bees
with it.
to bed on time,
Yeah.
you're gonna get killed with
You need to get them a
the
rooster so it's over at bedtime.
All right, well, thank you guys. See you, Jerry.
Thank you, guys.
They don't have to sign.
Alright, that's all we have. We'll
That's it.
move on to our second public comment.
Public comment.
Anyone like to address council on items not on the agenda tonight? Alright, our upcoming meetings, and this is a correction from the agenda stated on there, but our next work session will be March 18th, Tuesday, March 18th, from 2 to 4 p.m. And then our next regular council meeting will be March 25th at 7 p.m. No other business. Call the meeting adjourned, 8:58.
Well, that's
If
better
we
than the
stick
last
with
meeting.
that, oh, we canceled that 6 o'clock session?